I don't know how I'm going to start this, but I'm going to say this to all you kids to all the messed up people out there, to all the hurt, traumatized people who've been through absolutely horrible stuff. And I'm trying to talk to people who are in broken households, broken relationships, broken just situations where you're young, you don't have money, you don't have really a place to stay. You might be homeless. I don't know. And I'm going to tell you what I went through. And this isn't like an inspirational video or I'm trying to make you buy a course or any of this stuff. I'm just going to tell you what happened to me, what I went through, and the advice I can give to you from someone who sat in your spot. Okay. I was 18 years old when my mom kicked me out and made me homeless. I used to sleep on my best friend's recliner. That is not a joke. That is something that actually happened. I went through these things, okay? I have been homeless. I have had severe mental health issues. Hell, I still do now. Who am I kidding? But I was just talking to this 18-year-old kid who has a kid, and I was trying to make a video about trying to get better at social skills, and I don't think I'm gonna upload it. It just doesn't feel morally right to tell these people's stories without them really knowing. You know what I mean? And she said that she's in a broken household she's in her mom's abusive. She's been through a lot of traumatic stuff. She has a kid. She's 18. She doesn't have a job. And I was telling her, you have to get out of that house. You have to get out of that house like you need to breathe air. You have to get out. And you have to accept the responsibility that you are now an adult. The world sees an adult and expects an adult. And if you do not accept the responsibility every day of being a competent adult, even when you're not competent, even when you have no idea what's going on, your transmission just blew up and your Camry, you don't have enough money to pay your rent, do whatever it is. You have to be a competent adult. You have to work, you have to get a job, you have to accept the responsibility of being an adult, because every time you run away from being an adult, your life will get worse. I promise you. I pinky promise you your life will get worse. That's coming from someone who's been through it, okay? Now, job. You need to get a job. I don't care what it is. You have to get as many hours as humanly possible. You do not have the luxury of saying, well, I don't like working at McDonald's. Well, I don't like being the janitor. I don't care. You don't have the luxury of saying, fuck you. You don't have it. And I'm sorry that you were handed a shit storm. And you have to be a competent adult. You have to be there. You have to go to work. And if you're not in that bad of a situation where you maybe have a mom and dad or a place of your own, or, have the ability to go learn something, go to college. Okay. If you want to learn something that you will enjoy doing and you can see you're spending the rest of your life in that career, but it has to make money. It has to make money. You don't have the option of being, well, I can just sit around all day and do nothing. You don't have that luxury. And you can't be doing stupid, childish shit. You have to give up every single drug, every single one of them for that child. You have to. You have to give up the weed. You have to give up the beer. You have to give up all of it. Every addiction, it all has to go. It has to be thrown in the trash and you have to quit. Okay? And you have to go to therapy. If you've been through the fucking mud, which I'm guessing the person who is watching this still, you've been through horrible things. horrible, terrible things. I mean, I'm not going to spread this lady's dirty laundry, but it was horrible stuff. Absolutely horrible stuff. And you have to process these emotions. You have to go through these things. You have to go through it all because there is a generational cycle of pain and trauma. Let me use this analogy. Imagine someone gets stabbed and their blood's leaking everywhere and they grab a knife and they start stabbing somebody. And then that person grabs a knife and stabs somebody or whatever way, shape, or form of attacking somebody. And everyone is just bleeding and just stabbing and hurting one another. That is the modern day world. That is life. We're all just bleeding on each other through our trauma and just messing up. And you have to be better. Think of that child. Think about them saying at 18 years old, my mom had me. She was a deadbeat. She was a horrible human being who didn't show up. She did drugs. She was just an overall piece of shit. She used to abuse us. She used to drink. She used to do all this fucked up shit. She fucking all that. Do you want your child to be saying that? Truly, do you want your child to say that? And if you say, yes, you're a piece of shit. You're a fucking piece of shit if you are not going to be present for that child. Because it's not about you anymore. It's about them. It's about them. You don't have the luxury of being a child anymore. You don't. If you're at 17, 16, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, you don't have the luxury of being a child anymore. You don't. I'm sorry, you don't. And you have to show up every day. Even when you don't want to, even when you want to call off, even when you want to do whatever, you don't have that luxury. And you have to accept this fact as the truth for the situation you have if you're a young kid with a child. Your life is going to suck for a very long time. A couple years, you might have to work 2 jobs. You might have to raise that child. You might have to go to college. You're going to have to juggle all 3 of those for a couple years until you graduate or you learn that trade and you start making good money. And then things get better. You might be able to buy a house maybe. You might be able to do these things. It's going to suck for a really long time. But when you reach around 45, 50, maybe 60 years old, it's going to be good. And life's going to be really good. And you're going to say, yeah, I went through the shit. I went through the fucking mud. But I didn't back down. I didn't quit. And you did everything in your power. Life's going to suck for a really long time. I'm telling you, for a couple years, probably till you're like your mid 20s, you're probably going to be dead broke. You're going to have no fucking money. You're going to have nothing. But then things are going to get better. And they're going to get really good really quickly. It's going to feel like if you really lock in. And I'm sorry that you don't have the luxury of being in a nice house. You didn't have that child, whatever it is. You didn't have that luxury. I'm sorry that you have to deal with this bullshit, but you have to do it. Responsibility is inevitable, and every time you avoid it, your life gets worse. Be present. Be a loving, caring mother or father. Do everything in your power to take care of that child, no matter what. You always put that child above you. You do everything in your power to take care of that kid. And you have to heal. You have to go to therapy. You have to go through all of that shit, or else you're going to pass that trauma down to them, even if you don't realize it when you're doing it. And if you're that kid who is going through that stuff, I believe in you. You can do this. You can do this. It's just going to suck ass. But life's going to stop sucking one of these days. I love you, kid. I believe in you. You can do this. I love you all. Have a beautiful day.